From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
Good morning, everybody. We're waiting the opening of the initial public offering of COINBASE. COINBASE is the first cryptocurrency to have an initial public offering on U.S. soils, and the share price has continued to be adjusted upward in advance of the IPO. The latest data continues to surface within the last few minutes, and it's important in this recording. I'm going to be going over where the share price could land today. What is Coinbase? What are the risks associated in investing in Coinbase? Why are there other to-market competitors that can undercut Coinbase's economic structure and model for monetization? And is Coinbase diversified enough in its business portfolio of what it does, or is it merely a transactional business that could ultimately see competitors come to market and come to IPO that do things cheaper, faster, and in a way that could undercut its bottom line? I have all that analysis and more as LALATE's new show gets underway on Coin LALATE, starting right now. Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's a continuation of Mornings LA with our new show on LA covering cryptocurrency. And if you love it, we'll bring it also in midday and afternoons as well. We're awaiting the opening of Coinbase on the U.S. soils as the latest IPO and the most significant IPO of the year. It's also historically the first IPO for cryptocurrency. What is Coinbase? What does it do? And how does it impact you? Moreover, what is the reaction and anticipation of the opening of trading, which has been stalled across the board? We'll be cutting into the opening trade as soon as it goes live. We're watching the chart right now. The ticker symbol, of course, is COIN, C-O-I-N. What does Coinbase do, and what is really at issue today? A lot of people have said that today's IPO could actually result in a doubling of its opening price by the end of today's trading. Could it double by the end of today's trading? We will see. But let's go over what Coinbase really does. It's a marketplace to buy and sell. I'll explain in more simple details in a second, but it's basically a place in which you buy, sell, and convert Bitcoin, Etherum, Litecoin, and about 50 other coins. Very simple. There's a series of risks involved in investing in Coinbase, which is namely its business model. It's only a transactional model currently. Now, it could diversify, but that's its only business model, and there's other competitors that do the same thing, and in some cases cheaper. And they're coming to market as well with IPOs in the next few weeks. Meantime, there's other risks associated beyond just its transactional business model. There's a summer dip many are anticipating for cryptocurrency, and if it's not in the summer, it'll be in the fall. And then we'll have a winter surge. This could all impact its bottom line. Here's what you need to understand about what Coinbase is before we address the significance of today's event. Coinbase is basically a cryptocurrency version of a Charles Schwab or a cryptocurrency version of an E-Trade. And that's the problem with considering Coinbase as the only investment you may have in your portfolio for cryptocurrency. When we talk about cryptocurrency, we may talk about the coins, but here at issue with Coinbase is a transactional model which has a risky issue at hand. It's transactional and only transactional. One of its early investors appeared on broadcast news this morning, called it the Google of cryptocurrency. I gotta disagree. I really have to disagree. Throughout the lifetime of Google, it has been involved, Google or Alphabet as parent company, in countless business models, countless varying, very, very different business operations. And that one market fluctuation, one business model could be buffered by another business operations they do. This business of Coinbase is one business only: buy, sell, transact, and convert coins. It's based upon the following business model. You buy something, they charge a transaction fee. You sell something, they charge a transaction fee. And the transaction fee is what they make their money on. Are they involved in anything else? No, it's a transactional business model. Here's why transactional business models sometimes may be a limiting factor to consider. A few months ago, we saw what happened between the online e-discount brokers for securities. They started with one saying, we're going to do discount brokerage security operations with a new idea. We're going to waive all transactional fees. Waive transactional fees? How could you waive transactional fees for stock brokerage? It's unheard of. Well, they did it. And then what did the competitors have to do? They had to do the same. Who would have thought 5 years ago you would have heard that Charles Schwab or E-Trade or any of the discount brokers would suddenly consider even waiving transactional fees? That's what they make their business on. That's what they do. But they had to do it because that's what the competitor did. And they had to figure out another business model that would make them money because the transactional's not. Here's the problem with Coinbase as it is today. It's only that. It's only a transactional business model. And if you consider other businesses like Robinhood or other ones in the marketplace who have or can slice or dice or drop or make it free transactional processes, services that are offered by Coinbase, then where is their earnings projections going to go? You know, when you look at an Amazon, when you go buy something from Amazon, they charge a fee and you get that fee. Well, Amazon's not going to ever drop their fee to zero. It's a marketplace. But when you're talking about financial services have always throughout time shown fluctuations in fees. And if fees are dropped, then ultimately it impacts their bottom line. Impacting a business's bottom line, if the only business transactional fees, could impact the share price of Coinbase long term. Now, here's something you need to understand when we're talking about Coinbase, is that while the notion of what's going on today is being excited with the cryptocurrency frenzy at issue of today's historical launch, Coinbase will be operating going forward as a publicly traded security. And like a publicly traded security, it's going to be treated with the same analysis that any other publicly traded security is. Are they meeting earnings projections? What are earnings projections being bent upon? And ultimately, those risks at issue are the following. Competitors can come to market, can take away market share, can undercut pricing, and can undercut their market share. And with a transactional model as your only method of economic growth, of earnings growth, then the question is whether that will work long term. Coinbase will have to diversify and diversify quickly, but this is not unusual. We've seen countless times over the last 20 years where businesses use IPOs as a method to diversify operations going forward. It's not novel to Coinbase to understand that they are too limiting currently in their operations to flourish in a marketplace in which there's other people that do the same thing and can come to market and come to IPOs as well and do it cheaper and also cut away at market share. And then there's the risk. The risks are the valuations. Now, this is what's important for you to understand when you're looking at a Coinbase. When you're understanding the transaction, you're buying and selling an item. It's based upon how much that item is worth. It's very simple. It's like going to an art gallery and you're buying a painting and there's an 8% transaction rate. Well, was the painting $10 or $10 million? If it's $10 million, the transactional fee is a lot more money. Same thing with Coinbase. Here, the transactional fees they made were a lot more in the last few quarters because cryptocurrency went up. Well, if cryptocurrency goes down, then you make less transactional earnings. Very obvious, isn't it? And so if you look at the graphs of Coinbase's earnings over the last few months and the last few quarters, it went like this and then suddenly went straight up because cryptocurrency went straight up. And so suddenly they're going to market, they're going to IPO today at exactly the point at which cryptocurrency is generating the best transactional fees, the highest transactional fees, because it has the highest valuation. If you had done this a year ago, where cryptocurrency had less valuations for an individual coin, then the business makes less transactional fees on each of the items. So that is a very big risk for any investor looking at Coinbase today. Generally, cryptocurrency has an ebb and tide, a valley and a mountain. It goes up and it goes down at least once per year. When is that dip going to be? Some analysts say there's going to be a summer dip. Some analysts say the fall is going to be in the fall. The fall will be in the fall. But most everyone agrees that there's going to be another surge. Well, here is the problem. When you're considering a business that's dependent upon the transactional fees it makes from people buying and selling, and how much that thing is valued that they're buying and selling. Well, if that thing is valued less because the market bottoms out in enough for a few months, then Coinbase is going to have a pullback on their earnings potentially in the next quarter. Here's what you need to know. If you have the same number of clients today as you have tomorrow, and suddenly the items that they're selling tomorrow are worth a lot less because cryptocurrency goes down at that time, then Coinbase will make less money that period of time. And if they make less money, the stock price is going to go down. What Coinbase has to bet on is that if the marketplace of cryptocurrency has a lower valuation a few months from now, that ultimately they get more customers to balance that off. It's very, very easy to understand this. If you're doing transactional business, then what is the transaction? How many people are transacting it? And ultimately, first to market is a very big issue. First to market is always a big issue across the board. Let me go into some of the comments and thoughts that heated up before today's initial public offering. One of the prominent tech investors, Ron Conway, discussed the situation today. I honestly believe that Coinbase is the Google of cryptocurrency and opens a huge opportunity to customers. I don't agree that it's a Google of anything, but I do agree it does open incredible opportunity to customers. There's going to be millions of jobs generated from this trillion-dollar industry, and we want those jobs to be in the United States. I agree. That's a very good comment across the board, that cryptocurrency will be a big opener. So Coinbase has just opened, and it is opened at $381 a share on the NASDAQ, putting it at a valuation of $100 billion. So we just have the opening share. There you are. Oh, you see it on the graph. I was reading it from the news report. So you're seeing this live for the very first time. Coinbase is now open finally at $381 a share. It had been provided a reference point of 250. It's coming in at 381. Just before I went live, many thought it was going to be 360. So it has now traded at 381 a share on the NASDAQ. You're watching a live graph of that trading activity right now. That is the first trading activity of Coinbase right now. The ticker, again, is COIN. The NASDAQ had provided a reference point of 250 Tuesday night, but no shares had traded at the time. The business has been around since 2012. It services 56 million users, up from 43 million the year before, and 32 million the year before that. So relatively constant growth, 32 to 43 to 56. Certainly the press from the last 3 days will skyrocket its user base. In its private offering round in 2018, Coinbase was valued at $8 billion of market cap. 2018, you want to have a laugh? Goodness. In 2018, Coinbase's market cap valuation during an initial public offering to private investors was $8 billion. 8, the number 8, just 8. Today, its market valuation with that opening trade is $100 billion. Yes. So that's what 3 years does for you. Let's cut back to that opening trade and also jump into the live chat and see some of your questions and comments across the board. Similar as commodities, says Joanne. There is Renee in the room, and there's Anne, and there's Peter, and there's Kathy. How are you? Any questions and comments? Yes, people. Anne just said, wow. Yes, wow is right. You're looking at the very first trades on Coinbase happening right now. Very exciting news. Again, Coinbase now has a market capitalization of $99.6 billion, or in other words, 100 billion on a fully diluted basis, making its market capitalization actually bigger than some of the major trading platforms in the United States. What a round we are looking at right now. If you continue to look at the activity, Coinbase initially was thought of coming in somewhere at 360 a few minutes ago. Then they thought maybe 370, but here we go. Coinbase has now gone live and it is trading. What is your reaction? Joanne, in 2015, I bought $100 worth. 9 months later, I made $350. Good for you. Let's look at the activity right now for Bitcoin in view of the events of these opening trades. So if you're just joining me, Coinbase has now gone live in its first shares trading at 381. It was supposed to open at 360, but it's now at 381. Let's look at where crypto is currently trading. So Bitcoin is still up about 862 for the day, about 1% up. Ethereum is up 4% for the day, up 96 to 2,383. Litecoin is up 2% for the day at about 272. Those numbers were relatively where they were before Coinbase went live. Before Coinbase's first trading activity started, that is where it is. A new article published minutes ago said that Coinbase's when Coinbase launched 9 years ago, it hired employees based upon giving them cryptocurrency as their salary. Wow. So one employee was paid entirely in Bitcoin with a salary of $50,000. Can you imagine? So when they hired their first employees, they paid them in 2016 or 2012 in Bitcoin and paid them $50,000 at that time of Bitcoin. Imagine what it's worth today. Let's go back to the trading activity right now. So if you're just joining me, the reaction is hitting right now as Coinbase has now gone live in its first trades on the NASDAQ. Ironically, the NASDAQ's down upon the news, but the Dow is up. The NASDAQ is down slightly, and let's jump over the crypto industry. Cryptocurrency currently, Bitcoin is now surging. So Bitcoin is now up $600. Or 1%. Ethereum is showing a nice pop, almost 3.25% today, almost 4% Ethereum, and Litecoin is up 2%. If you just join me, Coinbase has now gone live at 381 a share, valuing the crypto space at 100 billion. Thank you, Mark, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Let me see some of your comments. Kathy, no go for me. Okay, short term, but there's no proof it could sustain long-term stability, says Kathy. Mark says, hey, LA. Let me see some of the other comments. Lucky say, I started using my first piggy bank under my mattress. There we go. Wow for those employees. Yeah, can you imagine being paid $50,000 in Bitcoin in 2012 as the first employees of Coinbase? Big, exciting news across the board. Let's look at that graph again. There you go. What a day it is. If you're just joining me, let me tell you where we are. Thank you for joining me on LALATE, our new show here on LALATE. It's on our morning programming block, but if you like it, I'll bring it back in the afternoon and evenings as well. Major history has just happened as the first major cryptocurrency business or crypto-only business has gone live in its initial public offering its shares on the NASDAQ and coming up higher than that reference point. The business is Coinbase. And initially, the reference point of where they thought it was going to open yesterday was 251. We started today at 360. And just seconds ago, it went live with its first trades at 381 a share. That makes its market capitalization, its value, at close to $100 billion. Huge. In 2018, it did a private round with private investors, and at that time, it had its market capitalization at 8 billion. Can you imagine just what a few years has made? 8 billion to 100 billion. What is Coinbase, and what do you need to know, and what is its impact on cryptocurrency, and what is cryptocurrency, and how is this all coming to head so quickly today? Here's what you need to know. Coinbase is a very simple business to explain. It's like an H&R. It's just like a Charles Schwab or an E-Trade for cryptocurrency. It's an app. You open on your phone, you buy and sell cryptocurrency. Done. Do they do anything else? No. It's transactional? Yes. Anything else? No. How they make money? Transactional fees. So it's just like an E-Trade for crypto. Exactly. That's what it is. So what are the risks associated with it? That it's a one-line business at the moment, transactional only. It needs to diversify very quickly because transactional only has big risks to it. And what are those risks? Number one, that the fees that you charge are undercut by a competitor who comes to market who charges less or for free, Robinhood. Two, then another competitor does the same thing you do and goes to IPO and ultimately gets the better favor of Wall Street before you do, potentially Robinhood. They're also going for IPO. And so hence you see what may have happened with discount stock brokerage companies a few months ago could potentially happen with cryptocurrency. Who would have thought 10 years ago that Charles Schwab or E-Trade would give trading for free, that you could buy and sell a Ford stock for free? You would think ludicrous. You would have thought it's crazy. What do you mean? How are they going to make money? How is E-Trade going to make money? How is Charles Schwab going to make money if they just do it for free? Well, one of them started it, and that caused the implosion across the board. One started it, and to fear for losing market share, the competitor had to do it as well. And suddenly, one after another of the stock brokerage online discount brokerages had to do it as free online free brokerages. And that's how it changed the industry. When you're looking at Coinbase, that is a risk associated with Coinbase. Ultimately, if you look at their graph, it shows they were making more money on transaction revenue over the last few quarters, but the last one went through the roof. Why? Because cryptocurrency went through the roof. So the transactional revenue is very obvious. It's based upon what you're buying and selling. So if you're buying and selling a 1954 Impala, that's worth $100,000 versus a 1992 Chevy that's worth $1,000, you make a lot more money transactional revenue on the Impala, and that's the concept. Cryptocurrency went up in the last few months, and so their transactional earnings went up because they're buying and selling and helping people buy and sell things that are worth a lot more money. So those are the two risks that are associated with Coinbase. And so what should you think about when looking at the situation today? First, the major risk is the competitors. Competitors can come to market and do what you're doing cheaper or for free. Second, a limiting transactional model cannot sustain Coinbase. It'll have to diversify. And this is what often businesses do with initial public offering. They use the money from the IPO to go do other things, to buy other businesses, diversify operations. Coinbase cannot exist just by buying and having a marketplace for buying and selling. What do? It's a marketplace where you can buy and sell Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and 50 others. Buy and sell and convert coins across the board. Very simple. Very, very, very simple. It says stocks, it's coins. Very simple. But that can't sustain itself because as a transactional model, people can cut away at your market share. They can also cut away at your stock market cachet by going to market with their IPO and becoming more in favor for analysts over your operations. And then we have the big risk. The risk of cryptocurrency going down later this year, and hence their transactions for Coinbase will generate them less earnings. If someone's selling something in crypto that's worth less, then Coinbase makes less money. It's very simple across the board. If you're just joining me, Coinbase went live in its current trade at 381. It was initially expected to come live at 250. That was its anticipated. But now it's at 396. So Coinbase has now, let's look at the chart together. So Coinbase went live at 381, and then it went straight up in about 5 minutes of this recording to, let me look at the top of this chart. It went as high as 422. So Coinbase went up to 422 in the first few minutes of this recording. It's now pulled back. Let me cut to this graph. I don't think this graph refreshes itself. Let me see if I can refresh it for you. Let's see right here. I don't think it's refreshing itself the way it should. But let me tell you where the trade is right now on Coinbase. The last trade is $400 a share. It's up $150. So it fell as low as $394. So it's had a rise and a fall already. It started, as I told you, at 381. Then it went all the way up to 424. Now it's back down at 394, and it's trading back up to 400. So a lot of volatility in just the start of the day. And let me look at the some of the comments in the room. There's Anne, and there's Lucky, and there's Gail, and there's Canute, and there's Angela, and there is Cody. When Binance's IPOs happening, Coinbase is gone. Very well said, Cody. Absolutely, we need to look at the competitors, and these will all impact things across the board. IPO buying is about timing, says Joanne. Well said. Let me see. There's Gail, and there's Angela, and there's Lynn Glenn in the room. How are you? Let me jump into some of the other questions. And, so Coinbase is now pulled back. It's now down to 394. So there you go. What a big day. A lot of big moves. The volume is relatively robust. The volume was very strong in the first few trades and has really settled down. If you look at the volume of the activity so far today, a lot of very big to market investors initially, and now pulling back in the second part of the situation. So what is my opinion of the situation? Here's my opinion of the situation. First, if you're interested in Coinbase, this is what you need to know. First, it's going to trade like a stock, so you have to look at it as a stock. This is a little bit different than looking at, I think you have to look at Coinbase as a stock and not as a cryptocurrency. You're not actually buying coin when you're buying Coinbase. You're buying someone who's running a business and a business transactional model. It's like an example of going to a car dealership and you're buying the car dealership, but you're not actually buying the car. You're buying someone who buys and sells cars. You're not buying the car itself. I want to buy a car dealership. Oh, you do? But I really want to own a Cadillac. Well, they don't sell Cadillacs. They sell motorcycles. Oh, okay. So you have to understand that Coinbase is an operation, that you're a business that you're buying. You're not actually buying the coin. And ultimately, if you're interested in buying on fluctuations of the cryptocurrency, I would not buy Coinbase. I would buy the actual coins. Thank you, Jason, for the massive super chat, the dancing bear. So Coinbase is an operation. It's an operation. As one viewer said, there's a lot of competitors that can come to marketplace and do the same thing that Coinbase is doing. When I mean marketplace, I mean IPO. They are doing it currently. They can go to IPO and compete with Coinbase. If you want the cryptocurrency, then buy the cryptocurrency. Now, Coinbase is collaterally helped by the activity, the excitement, and the valuation of cryptocurrency. They are helped by it. But if you really want the crypto investment, then buy the actual crypto investment. And I'll be covering that on this channel as well. Here's what you need to know, is that crypto is going to have fluctuations throughout the year. It generally has a 30% up and a 30% drop at least one time per year. That drop has not occurred yet. It's coming. It's absolutely coming. So if you want cryptocurrency, don't buy it now. Wait. Determine how much you want, when you want it, which coins you want to buy. Over the next few days, we're going to go over that together and look at the different types of coins you can consider buying. But don't buy it now. You want to buy when it falls. Ultimately, a lot of crypto investors sometimes treat crypto as sort of a everything's going to be wonderful universe. I don't think you should bring the mindset to crypto of everything of a crypto mindset. I think you should bring a securities, a stock buying and selling concept to crypto. Why? Because when you look at crypto, it's a chart. Up, down, up, down. Why would you buy at the top? Why would you buy at the mountain? You buy at the valley. And that a lot of people say, well, buy the crypto and put it away and look at it 5 years from now. It'll go up and to go down over time. Yeah, but some people still like to buy and sell. Some people like to buy and sell it in a few months while it's high and make their profit and they're done. And then they do it again. Other people rather hold and hold over duration. You have to determine your risk and reward. This is the number one thing you need to know is that when you're talking about cryptocurrency, it's not like stocks where you're going to have a relative fluctuation that is predictable based upon earnings and market fluctuations. Crypto has very steep dives and rises. And ultimately, if you're in the universe of buying and selling over short durations, you could get burnt because you could be blinking and not looking and get burnt very quickly. But if you want to buy a crypto, put away that coin for 3 years, you're going to do very well. You saw what the COINBASE people did. The private investors had a valuation 2018 of COINBASE of $8 billion. It's now today $100 billion. If they didn't look at it and just put it away since 2018, it's gone from 8 to 100. That's a nice return on your investment, isn't it? So around that time, you should not have been buying and selling your investment in Coinbase. If you had a private equity investment, you should have held it and you had done fine. That's the same concept of crypto, that if you want to buy and hold it long duration, and I mean several years, you're fine. But if you want to buy and sell, you better be watching it by the clock and by the minute. And now is not the time to buy. We're sort of at the end of this very large rally, this very large bull market on crypto. And the bear crypto time is going to come, where crypto is going to pull back. And with that, let me jump into the live chat and see if there's any questions or comments that viewers may have as well. Carla says, no bubble. I'm listening very closely, LA. Thank you so much. I'm dumb when it comes to stuff. It's very easy when you walk through it slowly. Joanne, hey, LA, you're correct. Thank you, Joanne. You know, when we walk through this slowly as a family, as I progress this subject matter slowly over time on this channel, you'll get used to how things work little by little. There's Anne, and there's Jazzy, and there's Canute. And there's another Anne, and there's Wendy, and there's Carla. A little too volatile for me. Yeah. You have to have a stomach for this, and you have to have a stomach for the bear market. As one person recently said, it's very easy to do crypto in a bull market. It's very hard to do it in a bear market. And I think it's perfect timing for this new subject on this channel because the bear market for crypto is just around the corner. And I want to get you prepared for that moment. There's Nisi. Hey, LALATE, I've been with you since April 20th. Well, thank you, Nisi. Thank you for joining me. We're having a lot of fun today, and I hope you had a lot of fun as well. I'll be back with you with the latest updates on your stimulus checks, your fourth stimulus and your third stimulus as we go into noontime, LALATE. Thank you for joining me on this fun debut of our new show, Coin LALATE. Stay informed, stay focused. If you missed it and it's now a tape recording, join me because I may be doing this. I'll be covering this later throughout the day, and I will be covering this again tonight on Evenings LA. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Give as many likes as you can. It really helps in the algorithm ranking, especially for crypto, because we're new to the subject matter in the competitive space. So the more likes you give us, the better we can compete in rank on cryptocurrencies. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay LA.